extremely interesting. Right around Sammy Mosley's time, the late 50s, early 60s, gospel, blues, and rock and roll were exploding.
Yeah, I get a lot of people bring stuff like this in, man. I know it looks old, but it's still just worth a dollar.
But this one's signed by former President Ronald Reagan and Walt Disney.
Oh, wow.
Sorry about that.
This man wants to sell 3 Super Bowl rings. These are 3 Super Bowl rings from the San Francisco 49ers when they were NFL champions in 1981, 1988, and 1994. Rick explains that the players on the championship team receive a personalized ring with their name and jersey number. The seller indicates that these rings belong to the regular players, and that is why he is asking $112,500 for all 3 rings. Rick doesn't believe they are that valuable and proceeds to check them. Rick has his doubts, so he decides to call an expert to verify if they are authentic and to find out how much they are worth. The expert arrives and examines every detail of the rings, the quality of the diamonds, and the gold, and concludes the following.
They have the right diamonds, they're yellow gold. It's really a great collection of 3 rings.
With that said, Rick asks the most important question.
So what do you think they're worth?
I think retail, they're probably in the range of about $20,000 a ring.
The seller doesn't agree with such an evaluation of the expert and claims that these are extremely rare rings and are worth much more. Even so, Rick can't pay the amount the seller wants and offers him $45,000.
My best offer would be $45,000 for all 3 of them.
Unfortunately, I can't part with them for that price. It's just too low.
The seller felt offended by this low price, and in the end, no deal was made. This man wants to sell the rarest Pokemon in the world. They are 2 uncut sheets of rare Pokemon cards from the first edition of the game. The owner comments that he obtained them from another collector and that it was very difficult to get because they are the most unique and collectible cards in the world. Chumley is impressed but notices some damage on the sheets, and the owner explains that since they are from 1998, they have some wrinkles but are still very valuable pieces. Chumley admits that it is very rare to see uncut sheets of Pokemon, so he decides to call an expert to get more information before negotiating. The expert arrives and is fascinated. He explains that due to their rarity, uncut sheets are worth more than the cards individually, but that it all depends on how good condition they are. He then proceeds to examine them one by one and acknowledges that despite the sheets having some scratches, they are in better condition than others on the market. With that said, Chumley asks the following question.
So what kind of value do you put on these sheets individually?
So retail on this sheet, probably $10,000.
The seller was not happy with this evaluation since he thought it was too low and asked Chumley for $20,000.
The lowest that I would be willing to go, probably $20,000.
Well, that's a little bit out of the price range for me.
The price was too high for Chumley, so in the end, no deal was made.
Sammy Mosley's prototype guitar. Today, a seller walked in with something that seems like one of the best documented collectible guitars. The entire background of the guitar and the history of its creation has been extensively researched by many people in the past.
Sammy Mosley was a great gospel musician. He founded the Mosrite Guitar Company, and I got this guitar directly from Sammy Mosley. He was at a guitar convention in Europe. He met a Spanish luthier who was building flamenco guitars with violin joints, and they had such a remarkable tone.
Oh my, this guitar holds a very remarkable story to it. Being a prototype, the inspiration was gotten by Mosley at a gospel convention in Europe. Oh, how glorious it must have been for him to come across Luthier, who was building nice guitars with formica and violin joints. Incorporating this discovery into his thoughts, the guitar came alive as a tool to help spread the gospel.
Okay.
He hand-wound the pickups. He made the pickguards and the volume plate, and it's built with violin joints.
All right, that's extremely interesting. Right around Sammy Mosley's time, the late 50s, early 60s, gospel, blues, and rock and roll were exploding.
Considering the explosion and fast-paced growth of the music industry in the 50s and 60s, Mosley's discovery aligned with experimenting new sounds. This period must have added a very good twist to this guitar. Giving such a different tune and sound at the time will definitely make the artist look very different. More reason this guitar holds a revolutionary value.
Definitely cool. You got paperwork on all this?
Yes, this guitar is probably the most well-known rare guitar anywhere. It's listed in the celebrity registry.
No belt buckle marks, although there's a very little chip. However, that can all be overlooked. This guitar is in very good shape. In fact, it looks brand new. Dr. Hal has come here very ready to sell off this guitar indeed. The paperworks are screaming "buy me," as it shows how genuine this guitar is. For more value, it is one of the rarest guitars listed in the celebrity registry. Rick is definitely interested, and he is willing to use his bargaining skills to the max.
So if this is the actual gospel prototype, there will definitely be a market for me to sell this thing. How much do you want for it?
Well,
Rick definitely has his eyes fixed on this guitar. Naming a few legends who have played this guitar makes him very confident that it will not be so difficult for him to sell this at an auction. But it's time to bargain, so he can be the custodian of this rare beauty. Dr. Hal knows it's worth a whooping $200,000. Haha, will Rick hop on this price?
I'd take $100,000 for it.
Quite frankly, that sounds expensive.
To buy and sell pieces like this requires the best bargaining, or a walk away. Dr. Hal has decided to let the guitar go for half the price he believes he can sell at a high-energy auction. $100,000 is still very expensive for Rick. However, Dr. Hal knows how rare the guitar is, and he is willing to let it go for that price. Okay, Rick?
I welcome that. However, you should know, since I've had this guitar since 1969 continuously and got it from the guy who made it.
Okay, this is getting interesting. As usual, Rick never finds it difficult to seek expert opinions on some of his intended acquisitions. Dr. Hal is making it clear that since he has gotten this guitar directly from the maker, he is the best one for the expert opinion on this guitar. This sounds fair, actually, considering the fact that he has been in close proximity with Mosley at the time and has had the guitar for so long. However, he's still the customer. Will Rick's man beat Hal to this?
This is kind of a pretty well-documented guitar. There's a couple things I can get a date on this. The Mosley tailpiece, for one, the Mosrite of California on the pickups.
Rick's man has come to enlighten us and validate the guitar, the great Mosrite gospel guitar. Looking at the pickups, the knobs, and the unique serial number, Jesse has no doubt this guitar is genuine, and as of today, he can date its rarity back to 1967 and 1968, which coincides with Dr. Hal's claim of acquiring the guitar in 1969. It's very genuine and rare, but how much do you think is the market value for this unique piece?
Realistic selling price on this instrument would probably be $25,000.
That's absolutely ridiculous because it's been appraised over the years.
What? Did he just say $25,000 is a very realistic price for the guitar? Dr. Hal is not having this. God knows what that sounded like to him. Must have sounded like some sort of joke. He believes Jesse's price isn't realistic as the guitar was insured for as high as $100,000. This was as far back as the 90s too. So why is Jesse giving this sort of low price for the guitar as of today? Although Jesse also has a point. You can insure a pair of shoes for as high as any amount. It doesn't make it so expensive. However, Dr. Hal is definitely not taking that price for his unique piece.
It's a cool guitar, I'll give you that. But one of a kind doesn't always bring a fortune.
Come on, you know you like it.
Rick Rock and Roll. Today, Rick has stumbled on the wildest thing. It's a rock, and no, not just any rock. That's a meteorite. Take a look at this. A rock that's billions of years old, older than Earth itself, forged in the heart of an exploding star. And this guy is haggling it over, next to used power tools and vintage DVDs. That's right, someone brought a literal piece of outer space to a pawn shop, like it's just another toaster.
Meteorite hunting is a hobby of mine. It's awesome to hold something in your hands that has come from
This is such a good find. Now, most times on Pawn Stars, owners stumble on these pieces via a purchase or letting go of some family heirlooms simply to get their hands on some cash. This time, Christopher, the owner, basically just stumbled on this thing. Listen to that asking price too. He's starting with $4,700. Imagine getting close to $5,000 for a piece of rock.
It's only been on the ground for maybe 3 to 5 months, approximately.
Only a few months?
Yeah, you can see here where it was laying on the ground, you can see part of the...
This thing is composed of the very metals and minerals that built our solar system. Iron and nickel from a shattered planetary core, silicate crystals forged in zero gravity, maybe even ancient carbon compounds, the building blocks of life. And yet, Christopher is trading it in next to vintage guitars and pawned music boxes. This thing is a cosmic artifact, a fragment of Mars, the moon, or some long-lost asteroid sold for gas money.
I mean, my big problem is I don't deal in meteorites, and I don't even know if it's a meteorite.
Okay.
I want someone to look at it. He'll do whatever he does. He'll be able to tell me it's a meteorite right here.
Of course, Rick does not deal with meteorites. It's a bloody pawn shop. This guy didn't just bring space dust to a pawn shop. In essence, meteorites are the leftover building blocks of the solar system. They are basically cosmic time capsules composed of metal, rock, and in rare cases, organic molecules, offering unparalleled insight into planetary formation and the origins of life. Let's see how much it's worth.
So what are your concerns about this stone?
Okay, I mean, is it a meteorite?
Well, I gotta tell you, a lot of people come to me saying,
His fears are quite valid because Christopher may think he's found a meteorite, but odds are it's just a regular rock with big dreams. Most meteorites people bring in are actually terrestrial lookalikes, dense, dark, maybe magnetic, but totally Earthborn. So while it's exciting to think you found a billion-year-old cosmic traveler, chances are you've just discovered a very ambitious driveway rock.
so tell me a little more about how you found this.
Well, this was found on a dry lake in Southern California. I hit it with my magnet.
Can I have your permission to do that again?
Absolutely.
I normally don't.
Great. Meteorites are often attracted to magnets because most contain significant amounts of iron and nickel, elements with strong magnetic properties. In the field, sweeping a magnet over rocks helps quickly distinguish potential meteorites from ordinary stones. If a rock sticks or pulls toward the magnet, it's a promising candidate for further testing. So while Earth rocks can fake the look, magnetism often reveals the true extraterrestrial origin.
Rock is older than this planet. That thing was solid before this planet ever solidified.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Chris, tell me about where the other piece of this is.
Meteorites are some of the oldest materials we can touch. Many date back over 4.5 billion years. This makes them older than the Earth itself, which solidified around 4.54 billion years ago. That means the rock about to be in Rick's hand quite literally predates our planet's crust. So when an expert says it is older than Earth, they're not exaggerating. It's older than any mountain, ocean, or fossil on this planet.
Would fetch $10 a gram, but this is a graded, cataloged meteorite. This is a $4,000 meteorite.
Knowing Rick, he is definitely not going anywhere near that price. If Christopher's preferred starting price is close to $5,000 and the expert mentioned $4,000, Christopher is lucky to get about $3,000. Let's see how much Rick offers at a go. Selling a meteorite at a pawn shop? One thing is for sure, the universe is disappointed. It crossed galaxies, only to end up priced below a gold chain. Humanity meet absurdity.
Bob said it's worth right around $4,000. I have to resell this, okay? It takes work, not look like a rock, and I'll give you $1,800.
Christopher came in with confidence, asking for nearly $5,000 for what he knows is an ancient relic, something that drifted through interstellar space long before Earth even had continents. But it seems Rick isn't so impressed. He offers a mere $1,800, explaining he'll need to dress it up, maybe set it in some flashy metal or give it a proper display, just to make people believe it's more than a chunk of driveway debris.
Should we take $2,000 for it?
No, I can't go that low.
I mean,
It'll look beautiful in here under the lights.
After some back and forth that would make any astronomer weep, Rick nudges his offer up from $1,800 to a grand total of $2,100. Christopher, once firm at $4,900 for a billion-year-old space relic, finally gives in. That's right, a rock older than Earth itself, formed in the earliest days of the solar system, possibly containing minerals untouched since the very beginning of time, was just traded for the price of a smartphone.
$1,200 sounds fair.
okay, deal, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'll meet you right over there.
Hey guys, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon to get notified about new videos, and show your love by liking and commenting down below.